Iran says they've successfully launched their first domestically made satellite, raising renewed concerns about Iran's ambitions among American, European, Israeli officials. Iran says the satellite's meant for research and communications. The launch happened amidst 10-day celebrations marking the 30th anniversary of the Iranian Revolution that deposed the pro-American Shah from power and redefined Iran as an Islamic republic. We'll have more on the missile launch and American policy toward Iran in our next segment. But right now, we're going to turn to the Nobel Peace Prize-winning Iranian human rights advocate, Shireen Ebadi. She is on a short visit to the United States, speaking out against both American and Israeli military threats to Iran, as well as the growing domestic repression of activists within Iran. In recent weeks, Ebadi herself has been the target of right-wing attacks in her country. Last December, security forces raided and shut down an organization she helped found, the Center for the Defense of Human Rights, and confiscated documents about her clients, who include some of Iran's most important political figures of the last 30 years. Since then, her former secretary was arrested, and right-wing crowds have gathered outside her home, accusing her of supporting the United States and Israel. I spoke with Shireen Ebadi yesterday about how she's dealing with the climate of repression in her country, her visit to the U.S., and why she continues to fight for human rights in Iran. I began by asking her to describe what happened to her office in December.
Yes, it was the 60th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we were going to celebrate that. An hour and a half prior to the celebration, the police came to the center and informed us that according to and pursuant to an oral order of the prosecutor, we have to close down the center and seal it.
And so then what happened? I understand your secretary was also arrested.
بله بعد از اون چند روز بعد به بهانه مالیات آمدند دفتر من. Yes, and a few days later they raided my private law office, and on the basis of an excuse of non-payment of taxes, they took the computers and several of my files away, although this was illegal and they had no right to do that. A few days even later, past that, they came to my house and they vandalized my house with spray paint and demonstrated against me. They took down my sign, the sign of my law office, and although I had called the police came, but they only watched the demonstrators do the vandalism and the breaking of my sign. چند روز بعد از اون شنیدیم که آخرین منشی And unfortunately, a few days even later, a young secretary, a female secretary at the Center for the Defense of Human Rights was arrested. They went to her house at 6 a.m. and arrested her, and she has not been able to meet with any of her attorneys. We have appointed an attorney for her, but the attorney has not been able to meet with her or to talk to her, and she has not been able to meet with any members of her family. She is in solitary confinement at the present time.
The significance of the government taking the documents from your law offices, you represent some of the leading political dissidents. Do they now have access to your clients' information?
میتونه اهمیت زیادی داشته باشه. Yes, they do have access to important information now. As you know, they have there is attorney-client privilege, and they should not have taken any of the files. What they did was illegal. I brought a criminal complaint against them for what they have done and taken the files, and to no avail up to now.
Shireen Ebadi, you had protesters outside your offices during the Israeli attack on Gaza, saying you supported the United States and you supported Israel. Here in this country, there were Iranian Jews who were saying that you weren't supporting Israel enough. Can you tell us your position on what's happening right now in Israel and Gaza?
قبل از اینکه یه عده‌ای در تهران به در دفتر من مراجعه بکنم به بهانه اینکه من از فلسطین حمایت نکردم، باید بگم که کانون مدافعان حقوق بشر که من رئیس اون هستم اعلامیه
I first have to inform you that the Center for the Defense of Human Rights that I am the director of had issued a declaration supporting the people of Gaza prior to the demonstrations in front of my house. However, when you ask me about the differences between Israel and Palestine, I think that they have to negotiate and they have to accept a two-state solution. The two of them should be able, the two states should be able to live in peace when both countries accept the two-state solution.
I wanted to ask you about the statement of the Israeli Prime Minister frontrunner, Benjamin Netanyahu. He said at the World Economic Forum in Davos that preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons ranks far above the global economy among the challenges facing leaders in the 21st century. I wanted to get your response.
من معتقد هستم که خاورمیانه بایستی آری از
I don't think that the Middle East needs nuclear weapons. I also don't think that Pakistan, India, or Israel need nuclear weapons. I think that they all should take measures in abolishing their nuclear weapons.
What message do you bring to the United States as you've come here for several days to speak?
من در درجه اول میخوام
I first want to congratulate the people of the United States for having elected a president who believes in human rights and on his first day of office ordered the closing down of the Guantanamo prison.
و در درجه بعد میخوام بگم که آمریکا یک ابرقدرت و رفتار سیاسی آمریکا سرمشق سایر کشورها.
In the second instance, I want to say that America is a superpower and the political behavior of America can be a role model for the rest of the world. What I want to suggest is that the United States join the ICC and in this way not let the dictators sleep a good night.
What exactly do you feel that Barack Obama should do right now? He has talked about direct dialogue with Iran. At what levels do you think the dialogue has to happen?
I
think that the dialogue should take place at three levels: at the level of the presidents of both countries, at the level of the parliaments of both countries, and at the level of the civil society of both countries. And I think that the negotiations should bear in mind the interests of the people of both countries, not only the interests of a few companies.
قبلا هم یک بار در 28 مرداد
In the past, in 1953, the presidents of both countries or the heads of both countries spoke, but their dialogue resulted in a few big oil companies coming to Iran.
Shireen Ebadi, there are going to be presidential elections in a few months in Iran. The man considered a reformist, Khatami, may run. Ahmadinejad said he could run. Have you considered running for president of Iran?
من هرگز قصد ورود به قدرت رو ندارم. من بایستی
I have never had the intention to joining power. I have to remain among the people and be the representative of people. That's why I reiterate that I'm not going to join power.
Your offices have been raided, your home has been raided, your secretary has been arrested. You have the leading women's rights campaigner in Iran, you can pronounce her name for me, who is now going to jail. Why are you returning to Iran? Do you feel safe there?
من در ایران امنیت کافی ندارم، همونطوری که بقیه کسانی که برای حقوق بشر کار میکنن امنیت کافی ندارن. اما من به ایران برمیگردم برای اینکه ایرانی هستم.
I don't have enough safety in Iran, nor does any other person who works on human rights have enough safety in Iran. But I am going back to Iran. I have to do my work in Iran, and